But there is one thing I wanted to ask the professor, which is I do think we have got a problem of historical amnesia, though, despite what you said, which I was very compelled by, about you can get access to things. Say, for example, when we've been talking about the what's happening in Eastern Europe, and I want to talk to people about the Cold War period and Yalta and the division of the world, and people kind of are so stuck in the present that they don't know what I'm talking about. They can't understand why I'm going on about 1945, 1946, and, what are you talking about? So there is a problem in a way. It's just that this won't solve it.
Yeah, no, I think I agree entirely with Claire. I think she's absolutely right there. I mean, in a way, we do need to understand much more about the world that we are in a broader sense. And as I've said, I'm not convinced that we endlessly need to talk about a set agenda of sometimes ones that are actually topics that are quite divisive in terms of our own history. I mean, I think you're from Scotland, Dr. Oliver, and I think if you were to spend your time, if every single programme was to talk about the Lowlanders beating up on the Highlanders or the Highlanders beating up on the Lowlanders, that's not going to be brilliant as an account to get Scots to maybe think better about themselves. I mean, we could endlessly talk about Presbyterian or Royalist or Covenant atrocities in the past. We could talk about the Jacobite Wars. We could present a really very unattractive and unappealing account of Scotland, whether within part of Britain or whether it eventually becomes independent. But actually, Scotland has a hell of a lot else to talk about in terms of enlightenment, industrialisation, an outgoing society looking at the world during the era of empire and subsequently. And it's not really very helpful to only dwell on the unpleasantness. Ditto, if we're looking at other parts of the world, I think that there are complexities in most parts of the world, and it helps not to go for a monochrome account of goodies and baddies in the past, as if that was the simple account. Claire has just spoken about Ukraine. As we know, the policy in Ukraine is very much being set by President Putin and the circles round him, probably almost exclusively President Putin. It won't help if it's then used to say Russians automatically are bad people. And, simplistic accounts about the role of slavery in the making of the British Empire or British economy dramatically underplay, for example, the Scottish and English working class who went down coal mines and worked bloody hard in factories. And it's not really very helpful to talk about the descendants of those people and to tell them that they should be atoning for some kind of white privilege. I mean, quite frankly, it's garbage, and that's being polite.